You'll never influence anyone by proving how important you are. But you can move mountains by making others feel important. Most people are aching to be seen, to be heard, to matter. And here's the secret. When you give someone your full attention, when you treat their words like they matter, you awaken something powerful in them. And in return, they will walk through fire for you. Connection doesn't come from being impressive, it comes from being interested. This simple shift can transform every relationship in your life. Subscribe to our channel if you're ready to master your mind. And tell us, where are you watching from? Behind every complaint, every conflict, every conversation, there is a desire to feel seen. When you understand this, your influence begins. Walk into any room. Look around. What do you see? People scrolling their phones, people checking their appearance, people waiting for their turn to speak. Everyone performing, everyone competing for attention, everyone desperately hoping someone will notice them. But here's what most people don't understand. This hunger to matter isn't vanity. It's human nature. Deep in the core of every person you meet lives a fundamental need. It's not the need for food or shelter or safety, though those matter. It's the need to feel significant, to feel valued, to feel like their existence makes a difference in this world. Think about the last time someone truly listened to you, not just waited for their turn to speak, but actually heard you. How did that feel? You felt alive, didn't you? You felt seen. You felt important. Now, think about the last time someone dismissed you, interrupted you, made you feel small. That sting. That's the wound of insignificance. And everyone carries that wound. Every person you encounter today will judge you within seconds. Not on your credentials or your accomplishments. They'll judge you on one thing. Do you make me feel important, or do you make me feel invisible? The clerk at the store, the person who serves your coffee, your colleague in the meeting, your spouse at dinner. Every single person is asking the same silent question. Do I matter to you? Most people fail this test. They're too busy proving their own importance, too busy showcasing their knowledge, too busy building their personal brand, and in their rush to be seen, they make everyone else feel unseen. But you can be different. You can be the person who understands the game everyone else is playing wrong. When someone complains, they're not just sharing problems. They're saying, my struggles matter. Please acknowledge that my pain is real. When someone brags, they're not just showing off. They're saying, I've accomplished something. Please tell me it has value. When someone gets defensive, they're not just protecting their ego. They're saying, I'm worth defending. Please don't diminish who I am. Behind every human behavior is this desperate need to matter. And when you recognize this need, when you honor it, everything changes. People stop being difficult. They start being helpful. People stop being closed off. They start opening up. People stop being your competition. They start being your allies. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you made someone feel truly important? Not flattered. Not impressed. Important. There's a difference. Flattery is cheap. Anyone can say nice things. Importance is recognition. It's seeing someone's value and reflecting it back to them. This is the foundation of all influence, all leadership, all meaningful relationships. You must understand that everyone you meet is wearing an invisible sign around their neck. It says, make me feel important. See that sign, honor that sign, respond to that sign, and watch what happens next. It's not charisma, it's not intelligence. It's the ability to make someone feel valued in your presence. That's the real superpower. Everyone is searching for their superpower. They read about confidence, they study body language, they practice their elevator pitch, they work on their personal brand. They think influence comes from being impressive. They're wrong. The most influential people in history weren't the smartest in the room. They weren't the most charismatic. They weren't the most talented. They were the ones who made others feel. Most important, Abraham Lincoln didn't win people over with his looks. Winston Churchill didn't charm with his voice. Dale Carnegie wasn't born with magnetic personality. But they all possessed the same forgotten superpower. They made people feel Valued. This superpower has nothing to do with what you know. It has everything to do with how you make people feel when they're with you. Think about the people who've had the greatest impact on your life, your favorite teacher, your best boss, the friend who changed your perspective. What did they have in common? They saw something in you that maybe you didn't even see in yourself. They made you feel capable. They made you feel worthy. They made you feel important. But here's what most people don't understand. This isn't a gift you're born with. It's a skill you develop. Most people enter conversations thinking, how can I impress this person? The person with the superpower thinks, how can I help this person feel impressive? Most people listen to respond. The person with the superpower listens to understand. Most people wait for their turn to shine. The person with the superpower helps others shine brighter. Watch how this works in real life. The salesperson who asks about your needs instead of pushing their product. The leader who credits the team instead of taking all the glory. The friend who remembers what matters to you instead of only talking about themselves. These people aren't just being nice. They're exercising the most powerful influence tool that exists, making others feel valued. But let me ask you this. How often do you use this superpower? When someone tells you about their day, do you really listen? Or are you thinking about your own story to share? When someone achieves something, do you celebrate their success? Or do you find a way to make it about your experience? When someone is struggling, do you offer genuine support? Or do you wait for them to finish so you can talk about your problems? Most people are so focused on being interesting that they forget the real secret. Being interested is infinitely more powerful. The forgotten superpower isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about making everyone else feel smart. This superpower transforms relationships instantly. Your spouse feels heard instead of ignored. Your children feel valued instead of dismissed. Your colleagues feel respected instead of overlooked. Your customers feel understood instead of sold to. And here's the remarkable thing. When you make others feel important, you don't become less important. You become more influential. You become more trusted. You become more respected. Because in a world where everyone is fighting to be seen, the person who takes time to truly see others becomes unforgettable. This is your forgotten superpower. It's been there all along, waiting for you to use it. The question is, will you? Make me feel important. It's written on every heart. Ignore it and people withdraw. Respect it and they open up. This chapter teaches you how to see it. And respond. Imagine if everyone walked around with a sign hanging from their neck, a simple message visible to all. What would it say? Please notice me. Please value me. Please make me feel like I matter. The truth is, everyone does wear this sign. You just can't see it with your eyes. You have to see it with your heart. Every person you meet today is silently screaming this message. The confident executive in the expensive suit, the teenager trying to look tough, the elderly person sitting alone, the busy parent rushing through. Their day, all of them carrying the same invisible sign. Make me feel important. Most people are blind to this sign. They're too busy displaying their own sign to notice anyone else's. They walk through life missing the most fundamental truth about human nature. Everyone wants to feel significant. But here's what most people don't understand. When you learn to see this invisible sign, you hold the key to every human heart. The cashier, who seems rude, their sign says, I'm more than just a transaction. Please see me as a person. The co-worker who always interrupts. Their sign says, I have something valuable to contribute. Please let me matter. The friend who constantly complains. Their sign says, my problems are real to me. Please acknowledge my struggles. The family member who gets defensive. Their sign says, I need to feel respected. Please don't make me feel small. Once you see these signs, everything changes. You stop taking behavior personally. You start responding to the need behind the behavior. When someone is bragging, you don't get annoyed. You recognize they're asking for validation. When someone is arguing, you don't fight back. You understand they're asking to be heard. When someone is withdrawing, you don't ignore them. You realize they're asking to be included. The invisible sign isn't always easy to see. Sometimes it's hidden behind anger. Sometimes it's disguised as indifference. Sometimes it's masked by arrogance. But it's always there. The angry customer isn't just upset about the product. They're upset about feeling unimportant. The silent team member isn't just shy. They're waiting for someone to value their opinion. The demanding boss isn't just controlling. They're desperate to feel respected. Learning to see this sign requires you to look past surface behavior to the human need underneath. It requires empathy. It requires wisdom. It requires you to stop being so focused on yourself that you miss everyone else. But let me ask you this. What does your invisible sign say? Are you asking others to notice your achievements? Are you hoping someone will validate your worth? Are you waiting for someone to make you feel important? Here's the paradox. The more you focus on getting your own sign noticed, the less likely others are to notice it. But the more you focus on noticing others' signs, the more your own needs get met. When you make others feel important, they want to make you feel important in return. When you see others' value, they see yours. When you honor others' significance, they honor yours. This is the secret to influence. This is the secret to leadership. This is the secret to meaningful relationships. See the invisible sign everyone wears. Respond to it with genuine care. Honor the fundamental human need to matter. The person who learns to see these signs becomes unforgettable. They become trusted. They become loved. Because in a world full of people desperate to be seen, they're the one who actually does the seeing. Look for the sign today. It's there, hanging around every neck you encounter. See it, honor it, respond to it, and watch how everything changes. When you give someone your full attention, you give them dignity. Learn how to listen, not to reply, but to understand. A world of constant distraction, attention has become the rarest gift you can give another person. Think about the last conversation you had. Really think about it. Were you fully present? Or were you thinking about your response while they were talking? Were you checking your phone? Were you looking around the room? Were you waiting for them to finish so you could share your own story? Most people don't know how to give attention anymore. They've forgotten how to truly listen. They're so busy waiting for their turn to speak that they miss the profound gift they could offer, the gift of being heard. But here's what most people don't understand. Sincere attention is the foundation of all influence. When you give someone your complete attention, you're not just being polite. You're giving them dignity. You're saying, in this moment, you are the most important person in my world. Real attention is rare. Fake attention is everywhere. Fake attention is nodding while scrolling your phone. Real attention is putting the phone away completely. Fake. Attention is thinking about your response while they're talking. Real attention is listening to understand their perspective. Fake attention is waiting for them to take a breath so you can jump in. Real attention is being comfortable with silence. Fake attention is listening for facts. Real attention is listening for feelings. When you give someone sincere attention, something magical happens. They light up. They open up. They share more. They trust more. They remember you. But most people are terrible listeners. They interrupt. They judge. They offer unsolicited advice. They make everything about themselves. The person who has mastered sincere attention does something different. They listen with their whole being. They ask follow-up questions. They reflect back what they heard. They create space for the other person to feel fully expressed. Watch what happens when you give someone this level of attention. Their posture changes. Their energy shifts. They become more animated, more authentic, more connected, because you've given them something precious. You've made them feel heard. But let me ask you this. When was the last time someone gave you their complete attention? How did it feel? You felt valued, didn't you? You felt important. You felt like you mattered. That's the power of sincere attention. It transforms both the giver and the receiver. Here's how to master this skill. Put away all distractions. Phone face down, computer closed. Nothing competing for your focus. Look them in the eyes. Not in a creepy way, but in a way that shows you're fully present. Listen for emotions, not just words. What are they really feeling? What do they need? Ask questions that show you're engaged. Tell me more about that. How did that make you feel? What was that like for you? Reflect back what you hear. It sounds like you're saying, what I'm hearing is, this shows you're truly listening. Don't rush to fix or advise. Sometimes people just need to be heard. Be comfortable with silence. Don't fill every pause with words. Remember what they tell you. Follow up later. Show that their words mattered. Enough to remember. The person who gives sincere attention becomes magnetic. People seek them out, trust them, open up to them. Because in a world where everyone is talking, they're the rare person who actually listens. Sincere attention is love in action. It's respect made visible. It's dignity offered freely. Master this skill, and you'll never lack for meaningful relationships. Because you'll be giving people what they crave most, the feeling that they truly matter to someone. The next conversation you have is your opportunity. Give them your complete attention. Listen with your heart, not just your ears. And watch how everything changes. Surface-level conversations keep people at arm's length. Thoughtful questions create trust. Influence begins with curiosity. Most conversations are shallow. How's work? Fine. Nice weather today? Yeah. How are the kids? Good. And then silence. These aren't really conversations. They're verbal exchanges, information trading, surface-level pleasantries that reveal nothing and connect no one. But here's what most people don't understand. The quality of your questions determines the depth of your relationships. Ask shallow questions. Get shallow relationships. Ask thoughtful questions. Build meaningful connections. The right question can transform a stranger into a friend. The wrong question keeps people at a distance forever. Most people ask questions to fill silence. The master of influence asks questions to create understanding. Most people ask questions they already know the answer to. The person who builds deep connections asks questions they're genuinely curious about. Most people ask questions about facts. The influential person asks questions about feelings, dreams, fears, and motivations. Think about the conversations that changed your life. The ones where you felt truly understood. The ones where someone really got to know you. What kind of questions were you asked? Probably not. What do you do for work? But what's the most fulfilling part of your job? Not, where are you from? But what do you miss most about where you grew up? Not, how was your day? But what was the best part of your day? The difference is subtle, but profound. One set of questions gathers information. The other set builds connection. But let me ask you this. What questions are you asking in your relationships? Are you asking your spouse, how was work? Or what challenged you most today? Are you asking your children, did you have fun at school? Or what made you laugh today? Are you asking your friends, what's new? Or what's been on your mind lately? The right questions don't just gather information. They show you care. They demonstrate interest. They prove you see the person as more than just a role they play. Here are the types of questions that create deeper connections, questions about experiences. What's the most interesting place you've traveled to? What's a skill you've always wanted to learn? Questions about values. What's most important to you in a friendship? What principle do you never compromise on? Questions about growth. What's something you've learned about yourself recently? How have you changed in the past year? Questions about dreams. If you could do anything without fear of failure, what would it be? What would you regret not trying? Questions about emotions. What makes you feel most alive? When do you feel most like yourself? But here's the secret. The best questions come from genuine curiosity, not from a script. When someone mentions their job, instead of moving on, get curious. What drew you to that field? What's the most surprising thing about your work? When someone talks about their family, dig deeper. What's your favorite memory with them? What have they taught you? When someone shares a challenge, explore further. How are you handling that? What's helping you get through it? The magic isn't in the perfect question. It's in the genuine interest behind the question. People can sense when you're truly curious about them versus when you're just being polite. They can tell when you care about their answer versus when you're just waiting for your turn to talk. Genuine curiosity is attractive. It's rare. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, be the person who wants to hear others. Ask better questions. Listen to the answers. Ask follow-up questions. Show that their responses matter to you. This is how shallow acquaintances become meaningful relationships. This is how strangers become friends. This is how you build trust, influence, and connection. Your next conversation is your opportunity. Ask a question that goes beyond the surface. Show genuine curiosity about the person in front of you, and watch how quickly everything changes. A person's name is the sweetest sound they'll ever hear. Here's why remembering and using it can deepen relationships instantly. I'm terrible with names. How many times have you heard this? How many times have you said it yourself? Here's the truth. You're not terrible with names. You just don't prioritize them. You remember what matters to you. You remember your favorite song, your favorite movie, your phone number, your social security number. You remember 1,000 details about the things you care about. But when someone tells you their name, you don't really listen. You're thinking about what you're going to say next. You're focused on making a good impression. You're worried about how you look, how you sound, how you come across. And in that moment of self-focus, you miss the most important thing they can give you, their name. But here's what most people don't understand. A person's name isn't just a label. It's their identity. It's who they are. It's how they see themselves. It's the word that's been spoken to them since birth. When you remember someone's name, you're not just demonstrating good memory. You're showing them they matter enough to remember. When you forget someone's name, you're not just being forgetful. You're telling them they weren't important enough to remember. Think about how you feel when someone remembers your name after meeting you once. You feel recognized. You feel valued. You feel like you made an impression. Now, think about how you feel when someone you've met multiple times still doesn't know your name. You feel invisible. You feel unimportant. You feel like you don't matter. The simple act of remembering and using someone's name can transform a relationship instantly. But most people are lazy about names. They meet someone and immediately forget. They rely on context clues. They avoid using names altogether. They say, "Hey you," or "excuse me," instead of learning and using the person's actual name. This is a massive missed opportunity. When you use someone's name in conversation, their attention sharpens. Their engagement increases. They feel more connected to you. That's a great point, Sarah. Thanks for your help, Michael. I appreciate you, Jennifer. The same words without the name lack impact. With the name, they become personal, meaningful, memorable. But let me ask you this. How often do you actually use people's names when you talk to them? Do you use your spouse's name when you thank them? Do you use your children's names when you praise them? Do you use your colleagues' names when you acknowledge their work? Most people don't. They miss countless opportunities to make others feel important simply by using the most important word in their vocabulary, their name. Here's how. To master the power of names, when someone introduces themselves, really listen. Focus on their name, not on what you're going to say next. Repeat their name immediately. Nice to meet you, Jennifer. This helps you remember and shows you heard them. Use their name during the conversation, not excessively, but naturally. Jennifer, what do you think about? That's interesting, Jennifer. Associate their name with something memorable. Does Jennifer look like someone you know? Does the name remind you of something? Create a mental connection. Write it down if necessary. After meeting someone important, jot down their name and a detail about them. Use their name when you see them. Again, good morning, Jennifer. Great to see you again, Michael. The person who remembers names stands out. They're remembered. They're appreciated. They're trusted. Because in a world where people feel increasingly anonymous, you're the person who makes them feel seen. Your name is precious to you. Their name is precious to them. Honor that. Remember it. Use it, and watch how something so simple can create such profound connection. The next person you meet is giving you a gift when they tell you their name. Don't let that gift fall to the ground. Catch it, treasure it, use it, and give them the gift of feeling truly important. People aren't bored. They just never get asked the right questions. Learn the art of drawing people out and making them feel valued through their own words. Everyone has a story. Everyone has experiences, dreams, fears, victories, and struggles. Everyone has something fascinating to share, but most people never get the chance to share it. Why? Because most conversations are dominated by one person trying to impress another, everyone waiting for their turn to speak, everyone competing to be the most interesting person in the room. And in this competition to be heard, no one actually listens. But here's what most people don't understand. The person who gets others talking is the one who gets remembered. You don't become interesting by talking about yourself. You become interesting by being interested in others. Think about your favorite people to talk to. Are they the ones who tell you all about themselves? Or are they the ones who ask about you, who want to hear your stories, who make you feel like the most fascinating person in the world? The most magnetic people aren't necessarily the most talkative. They're the ones who make you feel heard. Most people love talking about themselves. It's natural. It's human. But they rarely get the opportunity because everyone else is trying to talk about themselves too. When you give someone the gift of talking about themselves, really talking, not just answering surface questions, you give them something rare and precious, the chance to feel understood. But let me ask you this. In your last conversation, who did most of the talking, you or them? If it was you, you missed an opportunity to learn something new, an opportunity to make someone feel valued, an opportunity to build a deeper connection. The skill of drawing people out isn't about manipulation. It's about genuine curiosity. It's about recognizing that every person you meet has lived experiences you've never had, has insights you've never considered, has perspectives that could enrich your understanding of the world. When you ask someone about their childhood, their dreams, their challenges, their victories, you're not just making conversation. You're honoring their humanity. You're saying their life matters. Their experiences have value. Their story deserves to be heard. And people will love you for it. Here's how to master this skill. Ask open-ended questions. Not, do you like your job, but what's the most rewarding part of your work? Show genuine curiosity. When they mention something interesting, explore it. Tell me more about that. What was that like? Share the spotlight. If they ask about you, give a brief answer, then turn it back to them. That's interesting that you ask because I've been wondering about your experience with. Validate their experiences. That must have been difficult. I can see why that was meaningful to you. That sounds incredible. Remember what they tell you. Bring it up later. Show that their words stayed with you. Avoid one-upping. When they share something, resist the urge to share your similar experience. Let them have their moment. Be comfortable with their emotions. If they get excited, excited with them. If they get sad, sit with their sadness. Don't rush to fix or change the subject. The person who masters this art becomes unforgettable. Not because they're fascinating, but because they make others feel fascinating. People leave conversations with them feeling energized, appreciated, understood. They think that was such an interesting conversation, even though they did most of the talking. This is the secret to influence. This is the secret to building relationships. This is the secret to making people feel important. Let others talk about themselves. Ask the questions no one else asks. Listen to the stories no one else wants to hear. Show interest in the things that matter to them. And watch how they light up. Watch how they open up. Watch how they remember you as someone special. Because in a world full of people dying to be heard, you'll be the rare person who actually listens. Flattery falls flat, but sincere praise, it builds people up. Learn how to recognize effort, character, and potential without sounding fake. Everyone craves recognition. Everyone wants to be acknowledged. Everyone hopes their efforts will be seen and appreciated, but most people give terrible praise. Good job. Nice work. Well done. These generic phrases do nothing. They sound automatic, fake, like something you say because you're supposed to, not because you mean it. Real praise is different. Real praise is specific, personal, meaningful. It shows you were actually paying attention. But here's what most people don't understand. The goal of praise isn't to make people feel good for a moment. It's to help them see their own value, to recognize their strengths, to believe in themselves. Most people praise outcomes. Great presentation. You won. Nice. Job on the report? But the most powerful praise focuses on character, effort, and growth. It recognizes who someone is becoming, not just what they accomplished. I admire how you stayed calm under pressure during that presentation. I notice how much effort you put into improving your skills. I appreciate your willingness to help others, even when you're busy. This kind of praise does more than acknowledge achievement. It reinforces values. It highlights character traits. It encourages the person to see themselves in a positive light. Think about the praise that meant the most to you in your life. Was it good job? Or was it something that recognized who you are as a person? Probably someone said something like, "I respect how you always stand up for what's right. I admire your persistence. I appreciate your kindness. I'm impressed by your integrity." That praise stuck with you because it wasn't just about what you did, it was about who you are. But let me ask you this. What kind of praise do you give others? Do you notice effort or just results? Do you acknowledge character or just performance? Do you see potential or just current ability? Most people miss countless opportunities to give meaningful praise because they're not really paying attention. They're not looking for the character traits worth acknowledging. They're not noticing the small acts of courage, kindness, or growth happening right in front of them. Here's how to give praise that actually matters. Be specific. Instead of "great job," try, "I was impressed by how thoroughly you researched that." Topic. Focus on character. I appreciate your honesty in that difficult conversation. I admire your patience with difficult people. Acknowledge effort. I can see how much work you put into this. I notice how you never give up even when things get challenging. Recognize growth. You've really improved at handling conflict. I can see you becoming more confident. Praise publicly when appropriate. Let others hear the good things you see in someone. Be timely. Don't wait weeks to acknowledge something. Recognition loses impact when it's delayed. Make it personal. Use their name. Look them in the eye. Make sure they know you mean it. The person who gives sincere, specific praise becomes incredibly influential. People trust them because their recognition feels genuine. People value their opinion because their praise isn't cheap or automatic. But here's the secret. When you start looking for things to praise in others, you begin to see the good in everyone. You notice effort where others see failure. You see potential where others see problems. You find character where others find flaws. And this changes you as much as it changes them. When you become someone who recognizes the best in others, you become someone others want to be around. You become someone people trust, someone people respect, someone people remember. Because in a world where criticism is common and recognition is rare, you'll be the person who helps others see their own worth. Look for something to praise today. Not something generic or automatic, but something real, something specific, something that recognizes who they are, not just what they've done. And watch how your words help them stand a little taller. A word of kindness, a nod of appreciation, a thank you at just the right time. It doesn't take much to change someone's entire day. Life is made up of small moments, brief interactions, quick exchanges, split-second opportunities to make someone feel valued or invisible. Most people miss these moments. They're too busy, too distracted, too focused on bigger things to notice the small opportunities right in front of them. But here's what most people don't understand. Small moments create big relationships. The barista who hands you your coffee, the person who holds the elevator, the colleague who stays late to help, the stranger who lets you merge in traffic. These aren't just random interactions. They're opportunities to make someone feel important, and most people waste them. They take their coffee without making eye contact. They step onto the elevator without saying thanks. They leave the office without acknowledging the help. They merge into traffic without a wave of gratitude. These missed moments add up. They create a world where people feel invisible, unappreciated, unimportant, but you can be different. You can be the person who sees the small moments, who recognizes them, who uses them to make others feel valued. A genuine thank you to the person cleaning the building, a smile to the security guard, a compliment to someone who's clearly having a tough day. These cost you nothing, but can mean everything to the person receiving them. Think about the small moments that changed your day. Someone held the door and smiled. Someone said your work was helpful. Someone noticed you looked nice. Someone thanked you for something small. These moments matter because they make you feel seen. In a world where most people feel invisible, someone took a moment to acknowledge you. But let me ask you this. How many small moments did you miss today? The cashier who served you. Did you thank them? Did you make eye contact? Did you treat them like a person or like a machine? The person who helped you at work. Did you acknowledge their effort? Did you express gratitude? Or did you just take their help for granted? Your family members who did small things throughout the day. Did you notice? Did you say thank you? Or were you too busy to see their efforts? Most people go through life in a trance. They miss the opportunities to brighten someone's day with a simple acknowledgement. They're so focused on themselves that they don't see the people serving them, helping them, supporting them. The person who masters small moments becomes unforgettable. Not because they do grand gestures, but because they consistently recognize the humanity in everyone they encounter. Here's how to never miss these moments again. Make eye contact. Really see the person in front of you, not just the role they're playing. Say their name when you can. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate your help, Michael. Be specific in your gratitude. Thank you for staying late to help with this. I appreciate how patient you were with my questions. Notice effort, not just results. I can see you're working really hard today. Thank you for caring about getting this right. Acknowledge the unseen work. Thank the people who work behind the scenes, the custodians, the security guards, the support staff. Express gratitude in the moment. Don't wait. If you appreciate something, say it now. Look for opportunities to brighten someone's day. A compliment, a word of encouragement, a simple acknowledgement. The magic isn't in grand gestures. It's in consistent small actions that say, you matter, I see you, I appreciate you. These small moments compound. People remember how you made them feel. They remember that you were the person who saw them when others looked right through them. They tell others about you. They trust you. They want to help you. They become your advocates. Because in a world where most people are too busy to notice, you're the rare person who takes time to acknowledge the humanity in everyone you meet. Your next interaction is an opportunity. The person serving you, helping you, working alongside you, they're not just performing a function. They're human beings who want to feel valued. See them, thank them, acknowledge them, and watch how something so small can create something so meaningful. Looking someone in the eyes and truly seeing them. It's rare and powerful. We'll explore how presence is felt before it's spoken. In a world of screens, genuine eye contact has become revolutionary. Most people don't really look at each other anymore. They glance, they scan, they look past each other, they stare at phones while pretending to listen. They make brief eye contact, then quickly look away. But real eye contact, the kind where you truly see someone and let them see you, is transformative. When you look someone in the eyes with genuine presence, you're saying without words, in this moment, you are the most important person in my world. Most people are afraid of real eye contact. It feels vulnerable, intimate, intense. It requires you to be present, to be genuine, to drop the mask and connect human to human. But here's what most people don't understand. Eye contact isn't just about seeing. It's about being seen. And everyone desperately wants to be truly seen. Think about the last time someone really looked at you, not just glanced, but truly saw you. How did it feel? You felt connected, didn't you? You felt like you mattered. You felt present and alive. Now think about conversations where people avoided eye contact. How did those feel? Distant, disconnected, like you weren't really there. Eye contact is the foundation of presence, and presence is the foundation of influence. When you give someone your eyes, you give them your attention. When you give them your attention, you give them respect. When you give them respect, you earn their trust. But let me ask you this. How often do you really make eye contact? When you're talking to your spouse, are you looking at them or at your phone? When your child is telling you about their day, are you making eye contact or multitasking? When someone is speaking in a meeting, are you looking at them or at your laptop? When the cashier is helping you, are you making eye contact or staring at the screen? Most people miss countless opportunities to connect simply because they won't look up. Real eye contact does more than show you're listening. It creates a moment of human connection. It says, I see you. You matter. This conversation matters. But there's an art to it. Eye contact can feel aggressive if it's too intense. It can feel dismissive if it's too brief. The sweet spot is genuine, warm, and present. Here's how to master meaningful eye contact. Look at them when they're speaking, not constantly, but regularly. Show you're engaged. Look at them when you're making an important point. This emphasizes what you're saying and ensures they feel the weight of your words. Don't stare. Natural eye contact includes brief moments of looking away. This keeps it comfortable, not creepy. Match their energy. If they're serious, your eye contact should reflect that. If they're lighthearted, let your eyes smile too. Use eye contact to show appreciation. When you thank someone, look them in the eyes. It makes your gratitude feel genuine. Make eye contact when greeting and saying goodbye. Start and end interactions with presence. Be aware of cultural differences. Some cultures have different norms around eye contact. Be respectful and observant. The person who has mastered meaningful eye contact stands out in every room. People feel heard in their presence, valued, important, because in a world where everyone is looking at screens, you're looking at souls. Eye contact builds trust faster than words. It creates intimacy without intrusion. It shows confidence without arrogance. It demonstrates presence without performance. When you truly see someone, when you look them in the eyes with genuine care, you give them a gift that's increasingly rare, the feeling of being fully present with another human being. Your next conversation is your opportunity. Put down the phone, close the laptop, look up, see the person in front of you, and let them see you. This simple act can transform any interaction from transactional to meaningful, from distant to connected, from forgettable to unforgettable. Even when you know the answer, sometimes the smartest thing you can do is ask for someone else's opinion. People don't remember what you know. They remember how you made them feel. The smartest person in the room isn't always the one with all the answers. Often, it's the one who makes everyone else feel intelligent. Most people have this backwards. They think influence comes from proving how much they know, from having the best ideas, from being right all the time, from showing their expertise at every opportunity. They're wrong. Real influence comes from helping others discover their own intelligence, from asking for their insights, from valuing their perspectives, from making them feel like contributors, not just listeners. Think about the leaders you most respect. Are they the ones who had all the answers, or are they the ones who brought out the best thinking in others? Most people love to feel smart. They love to share their opinions. They love to be asked for advice. They love to feel like their thoughts matter, but they rarely get the chance because everyone else is too busy trying to prove their own intelligence. When you ask someone for their opinion, genuinely ask, not just to be polite. You give them something precious, the chance to feel valuable. What do you think about this? How would you approach this situation? I'd love to get your perspective on this. These simple phrases transform conversations. They turn monologues into dialogues. They turn audiences into participants. They turn followers into collaborators. But here's what most people don't understand. When you make others feel smart, you don't become less smart. You become more influential. People trust advisors who ask for their input. They follow leaders who value their contributions. They respect colleagues who seek their opinions. But let me ask you this. How often do you genuinely ask others for their thoughts? When you're facing a decision, do you ask your team for input? Or do you just announce your choice? When your spouse has an opinion about something, do you explore it? Or do you explain why yours is better? When your children share their ideas, do you take them seriously? Or do you dismiss them because you're the adult? Most people miss countless opportunities to make others feel intelligent because they're too focused on appearing intelligent themselves. The person who has mastered this skill knows that making others feel smart is the smartest strategy of all. Here's how to let others feel smart. Ask for their opinion before sharing yours. What's your take on this situation? Let them think through the problem first. Build on their ideas. That's a great point. What if we also show that their thinking sparked additional insights? Ask follow-up questions. Tell me more about that. How did you come to that conclusion? This shows you value their thought process. Give credit publicly. Sarah had a great insight about this. Let others know whose thinking contributed to success. Admit when you don't know something. I'm not sure about that. What do you think? This creates space for others to contribute. Ask for advice. You have experience with this. What would you recommend? People love being seen as experts. Let them solve problems. Instead of giving answers, ask questions that help them find solutions themselves. The magic happens when someone leaves a conversation with you feeling smarter than when they arrived. They think, I had some really good ideas in that discussion. They feel capable, valuable, important, and they associate those feelings with you. This is how you build influence. This is how you develop trust. This is how you create allies and advocates, not by proving how smart you are, but by helping others discover how smart they are. People don't remember what you know. They remember how you made them feel. And when you make them feel intelligent, they remember you as someone special. Your next conversation is your opportunity. Ask a genuine question. Seek their perspective. Value their input. And watch how helping others feel smart makes you more influential than any amount of expertise ever could. Nothing alienates faster than arrogance. Nothing builds faster than humility. Learn how to make people feel included in your wins. Success is rarely a solo act. Behind every achievement, every victory, every breakthrough, there are other people who contributed, who helped, who supported, who made it possible. But most people forget this when it's time to celebrate. They take all the credit. They bask in all the glory. They act like they did it alone. And in doing so, they alienate the very people who helped them succeed. Here's what most people don't understand. When you share credit, you don't diminish your achievement. You multiply your influence. When you acknowledge others' contributions, they don't think less of you. They think more of you. They see someone who's secure enough to recognize others, someone who's humble enough to share success, someone who's wise enough to build relationships, not just results. Think about leaders you admire. Do they hog the spotlight, or do they shine it on others? Most people are credit hogs. They're afraid that acknowledging others will make them look weak. They think recognition is a zero-sum game. If someone else gets credit, they get less. But the opposite is true. The person who shares credit becomes more respected, not less. More trusted, not less. More influential, not less. When you win, others want to feel like they were part of that win. They want to feel like they contributed. They want to feel like their efforts mattered. When you share credit, you make them feel included, valued, important, and they'll work even harder to help you win again. But let me ask you this. When you succeed, who do you acknowledge? When you get promoted, do you thank the people who supported you, or do you act like you earned it alone? When your project succeeds, do you credit your team, or do you take the ball yourself? When someone compliments your work, do you mention the others who helped, Or do you accept it as if you did everything yourself? Most people miss opportunities to build loyalty and trust because they're too focused on getting recognition rather than giving it. The person who has mastered this skill understands that shared success is sustainable success. Here's how to share credit effectively. Be specific about contributions. Don't just say, "Thanks to my team." Say, "Sarah's research made this possible," or "Michael's idea was the breakthrough we needed." Share credit publicly. Acknowledge others in front of people who matter. This maximizes the impact of your recognition. Share credit immediately. Don't wait for the formal award ceremony. Acknowledge contributions in the moment. Share credit even for small wins, not just major successes, but daily achievements. This went well because of your input. Include everyone who contributed, the obvious contributors and the behind-the-scenes helpers, the leaders and the support staff. Be genuine in your acknowledgments. People can tell the difference between authentic recognition and political politeness. Make it about them, not you. "Sarah, your analysis was brilliant," not "I was smart to listen to Sarah's analysis." When you share credit, something magical happens. People become more invested in your success. They work harder because they know their efforts will be recognized. They contribute more because they feel valued. You build a reputation as someone who lifts others up, someone who sees the best in people, someone who makes success feel shared rather than stolen. This is how you build loyal teams. This is how you develop lasting relationships. This is how you create a network of people who want to help you succeed, because they know you'll help them succeed too. The most successful people understand this paradox. The more credit you give away, the more you receive. The more you acknowledge others, the more others acknowledge you. The more you share success, the more success comes your way. Your next win is your opportunity. Look around and see who helped make it possible. Acknowledge their contributions. Share the spotlight. Make them feel included in your success. And watch how sharing credit doesn't diminish your achievement. It multiplies your influence. Too often people withhold compliments out of insecurity, but admiration expressed sincerely creates bonds. It lifts others and elevates you in the process. Most people struggle with other people's success. When a colleague gets promoted, they feel threatened. When a friend buys a nice house, they feel envious. When someone achieves something impressive, they find reasons to diminish it. This is human nature. It's also relationship poison. But here's what most people don't understand. Your ability to genuinely admire others is a direct reflection of your own character, and it's one of the most powerful tools for building influence and connection. When you can look at someone else's success, talent, or achievement and feel genuine admiration, instead of envy, you reveal something profound about yourself. You show security, confidence, abundance thinking, and people are drawn to that. Think about someone who's genuinely celebrated your successes. How did their admiration make you feel? You felt appreciated, didn't you? You felt seen. You felt like they truly understood your value. Now think about someone who downplayed your achievements or seemed uncomfortable with your success. How did that feel? You felt diminished, misunderstood, like they couldn't handle your growth. The difference is profound. One person builds relationship capital. The other destroys it. Most people withhold admiration because they think it costs them something. They worry that acknowledging others' success somehow diminishes their own worth. They operate from scarcity thinking. If you're impressive, I must be less impressive. But here's the truth. Genuine admiration is abundant. It costs you nothing and creates everything. When you sincerely admire someone's achievement, talent, or character, you don't become smaller. You become more attractive. You show that you're secure enough to recognize excellence, wise enough to appreciate quality, generous enough to celebrate others. But let me ask you this. How often do you express genuine admiration? When someone shares good news, do you celebrate with them? Or do you find ways to minimize their achievement? When you see someone's talent, do you acknowledge it? Or do you focus on their flaws? When a colleague succeeds, Do you congratulate them? Or do you explain why they were lucky? Most people miss countless opportunities to build relationships because they can't get past their own insecurity to genuinely admire others. The person who has mastered this skill becomes magnetic. People trust them because they don't feel threatened by others' success. People open up to them because they know their achievements will be celebrated, not diminished. Here's how to admire without envy. Recognize that someone else's success doesn't diminish yours. There's room for multiple people to be successful, talented, and impressive. Focus on what you can learn from them. Instead of feeling threatened, get curious. What can their success teach you? Be specific in your admiration. I really admire how you handled that difficult situation is more powerful than good job. Celebrate their character, not just their achievements. I respect your integrity means more than congratulations on the promotion. Express admiration publicly when appropriate. Let others hear you celebrating someone's success. Ask about their process. How did you develop that skill? This shows genuine interest in their growth. Share their success with others. Have you heard about what Sarah accomplished? This amplifies their achievement. The magic of genuine admiration is that it creates a positive cycle. When you celebrate others, they want to celebrate you. When you acknowledge others' strengths, they see yours. When you lift others up, they lift you up too. But more than that, when you train yourself to see the good in others, you become a more positive person. You start noticing excellence everywhere. You appreciate quality wherever you find it. You become someone who makes others feel valued just by being around them. This is how you build lasting relationships. This is how you develop influence. This is how you create a reputation as someone who brings out the best in others. Your next opportunity to admire someone is coming soon. When it arrives, don't let insecurity steal it from you. See their success clearly. Acknowledge their talent honestly. Celebrate their achievement genuinely, and watch how your ability to admire others without envy makes you someone others admire in return. People blossom under belief. Learn how to speak words of encouragement that inspire real action. And self-confidence. Everyone needs encouragement. Everyone faces moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. Everyone questions whether they're capable, worthy, or strong enough to keep going. But most people give terrible encouragement. You can do it. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. These generic phrases do nothing. They sound empty, automatic, like something you say because you're supposed to, not because you believe it. Real encouragement is different. Real encouragement is specific, personal, believable. It shows you see something in them that maybe they don't see in themselves. But here's what most people don't understand. The goal of encouragement isn't to make people feel better for a moment. It's to help them see their own capability, to recognize their own strength, to believe in their own potential. Most people encourage outcomes. You'll win. You'll succeed. You'll be fine. But the most powerful encouragement focuses on character, past evidence, and inner resources. It reminds people of who they are and what they've already overcome. I've seen how you handle challenges before. You find a way. You have the kind of persistence that gets results. I believe in your ability to figure this out. This kind of encouragement does more than provide temporary comfort. It builds lasting confidence. It reminds people of their own track record. It helps them see their strength clearly. Think about the encouragement that meant the most to you in your life. Was it generic optimism, or was it something that recognized your specific strengths? Probably someone said something like, "I've watched you overcome difficult things before. You have the courage to do hard things. I trust your judgment. You're stronger than you think." That encouragement stuck with you because it wasn't just about the situation. It was about who you are. But let me ask you this. What kind of encouragement do you give others? When someone is facing a challenge, do you offer empty optimism or genuine belief? Do you acknowledge their capability or just tell them not to worry? Most people miss opportunities to give meaningful encouragement because they don't know how to see and reflect back someone's strengths. Here's how to give encouragement that actually builds confidence. Point to past evidence. Remember when you remind them of times they've succeeded, overcome, or grown. Acknowledge their character. You have the kind of integrity that I admire how you focus on who they are, not just what they might accomplish. Be specific about their strengths. You're really good at seeing solutions others miss. You have a gift for making people feel comfortable. Express confidence in their process. I trust that you'll figure out the right approach. You have good instincts about these things. Acknowledge their courage. It takes strength to face this. I respect that you're willing to take this on. Remind them of their resources. You have people who support you. You've developed skills that will serve you well. Focus on their growth. You're becoming someone who, I can see how you're developing. The person who gives this kind of encouragement becomes incredibly valuable. People seek them out when they're struggling. They trust their perspective. They feel stronger after talking with them, because good encouragement doesn't just make people feel better. It helps them see themselves more clearly. It reminds them of their capability. It builds the kind of confidence that leads to action. When you encourage someone effectively, you're not just offering support, you're helping them access their own strength. You're reflecting back their own capability. You're reminding them of who they really are, and that changes everything. People don't just need to be told they can do something. They need to be reminded of why they can do it. They need to see the evidence of their own capability. They need to feel their own strength. Your next opportunity to encourage someone is coming. When it arrives, don't offer empty optimism. Look for their real strengths. Point to actual evidence. Remind them of who they've proven themselves to be, and watch how the right kind of encouragement doesn't just comfort them, it empowers them. Sometimes people forget their own value. Your job. Reflect it back. Tell them what you see. Remind them who they are. People lose sight of themselves. They get caught up in daily struggles. They focus on their failures. They magnify their weaknesses. They forget their strengths, their value, their impact on others. This is normal. This is human. But it's also tragic, because every person you meet has gifts they've forgotten. Strengths they don't see. Value they don't recognize. Greatness they don't believe in. And sometimes all they need is someone to reflect it back to them. Most people don't do this. They're too focused on themselves to see others clearly. They're too busy with their own problems to notice someone else's potential. They miss the profound opportunity to be a mirror that reflects back someone's own greatness. But here's what most people don't understand. When you help someone see their own value, you don't just change their day, you change their life. When you reflect back someone's greatness, their character, their impact, their unique gifts, you help them remember who they are. You give them permission to see themselves clearly. You provide evidence of their own worth. Think about someone who helped you see yourself more clearly. Someone who pointed out your strengths when you couldn't see them. Someone who reminded you of your value when you felt worthless. Someone who saw your potential when you saw only your problems. How did that change you? It didn't just make you feel good for a moment. It shifted how you saw yourself. It gave you confidence. It reminded you of who you could be. That's the power of being a mirror for someone's greatness. Most people are terrible mirrors. They reflect back insecurity, criticism, or indifference. They point out flaws instead of strengths. They focus on problems instead of potential. But you can be different. You can be the kind of mirror that shows people their best selves. But let me ask you this. When did you last reflect someone's greatness back to them? When did you tell someone about the positive impact they've had on you? When did you point out a strength they didn't recognize? When did you remind someone of their value when they were struggling to see it? Most people miss countless opportunities to be this kind of mirror because they don't look for greatness in others. They don't pay attention to people's unique gifts. They don't see past surface problems to underlying potential. The person who has mastered this skill becomes transformational in others' lives. They help people see themselves clearly. They restore confidence. They remind people of who they really are. Here's how to mirror someone's greatness back to them. Pay attention to their unique gifts. What do they do naturally that others struggle with? What strengths do they not even realize they have? Notice their impact on others. How do they make people feel? What positive effect do they have in situations? Acknowledge their character. What values do they consistently demonstrate? What kind of person are they when no one is watching? Point out their growth. How have they changed? What have they overcome? Who are they becoming? Be specific in your observations. You have a gift for making people feel comfortable. Is more powerful than "you're nice." Tell them how they've impacted you. You helped me see this differently, or your encouragement meant everything to me. Remind them of their track record. You always find a way to solve difficult problems, or people trust you because you follow through. The magic happens when someone realizes they've been seeing themselves incorrectly, when they understand they've been focusing on their weaknesses while ignoring their strengths, when they remember they have value they'd forgotten about. This is one of the greatest gifts you can give another person, helping them see themselves clearly. People walk around carrying greatness they don't recognize, gifts they don't value, strengths they don't appreciate, impact they don't understand. Your job isn't to create their greatness. It's already there. Your job is to help them see it, to reflect it back, to remind them of who they are when they've forgotten. And when you do this consistently, when you become the kind of person who sees and reflects back others' greatness, you become unforgettable. You become trusted. You become loved. Because you help people remember the best version of themselves. Look around today. See the greatness in the people around you, the gifts they don't recognize, the value they don't see, the impact they don't realize they're having, and then be the mirror. Reflect it back. Tell them what you see. Remind them who they are. Watch how helping others see their greatness doesn't diminish yours. It multiplies it. You can't force people to open up, but with consistency, empathy, and patience, you earn their trust. And that's where real connection lives. Connection can't be rushed. It can't be manufactured. It can't be demanded or purchased or manipulated into existence. Real connection is earned through consistent actions over time, through showing up when it matters, through proving you're safe to trust, through demonstrating that you see people as humans, not as opportunities. Most people want instant connection. They want deep relationships without putting in deep work. They want trust without being trustworthy. They want others to open up without creating safety for them to do so. But here's what most people don't understand. Connection is a process, not an event. It starts with small moments of reliability, keeping your word, following through on commitments, being where you say you'll be when you say you'll be there. It grows through consistent kindness, remembering what matters to someone, checking in when they're struggling, celebrating when they succeed. It deepens through genuine empathy, understanding their perspective, validating their feelings, seeing the world through their eyes, and it solidifies through patience, not rushing them to share more than they're comfortable with, not pushing for intimacy before trust is established, not making their vulnerability about your need for connection. Think about your closest relationships. Did they happen overnight? Or did they develop slowly through countless small interactions that built trust over time? Most people try to skip the process. They want to be instantly close without earning closeness. They share personal information hoping others will reciprocate. They try to manufacture intimacy through forced vulnerability. But real connection doesn't work that way. It can't be forced or rushed or manipulated into existence. Real connection happens when someone feels safe with you, when they know you'll guard their trust carefully, when they believe you see them as a whole person, not just what they can do for you. But let me ask you this. Are you trying to build connection or buy it? Are you investing time in small, consistent actions? Or are you looking for shortcuts to intimacy? Are you proving yourself trustworthy over time? Or are you expecting trust without earning it? Are you patient with the process? Or are you frustrated when people don't open up immediately? Most people fail at building real connection because they want the results without respecting the process. The person who understands this builds relationships that last. They're willing to invest time without guaranteed returns. They're patient with people's pace. They understand that trust is earned in drops and lost in buckets. Here's how to build genuine connection. Start small. Don't expect deep conversations immediately. Build comfort through small, positive interactions first. Be consistent. Show up regularly. Be reliable in small things before expecting trust in big things. Listen more than you talk. Connection isn't about impressing others with your stories. It's about showing interest in theirs. Keep confidences. When someone shares something personal, guard it carefully. Prove you're safe with their trust. Be patient with their pace. Some people open up quickly. Others take time. Respect their natural rhythm. Show empathy, not judgment. When they share struggles, respond with understanding, not advice or criticism. Follow up on important things. If they mention something significant, check in later. Show that their words mattered to you. Be genuine, not perfect. People connect with authenticity, not with people who seem to have it all together. The beautiful thing about real connection is that it compounds. Each positive interaction builds on the last. Each moment of reliability increases trust. Each act of empathy deepens the relationship, but it takes time. It takes patience. It takes consistency. Most people aren't willing to do this work. They want instant results, quick intimacy, fast friendship. They give up when connection doesn't happen immediately. But you can be different. You can be the person who understands that the best relationships are built slowly and carefully. That trust is earned through actions, not words. That connection is created through consistency, not charisma. When you commit to building connection properly, with patience, empathy, and consistency, you create relationships that last. People trust you because you've proven trustworthy. They open up to you because you've created safety. They value your friendship because you've invested in it properly. And that's where real influence lives, not in what you know or how impressive you are, but in the quality of connection you've built with others. The next person you meet is an opportunity to start this process. Begin small. Be consistent. Show empathy. Be patient. And watch how real. Connection grows naturally when you respect the process of building it. The best leaders don't shine alone. They light up the room by recognizing others. Influence is not about domination. It's about elevation. Leadership isn't about being the most important person in the room. It's about making everyone else feel important. Most people misunderstand leadership. They think it's about having authority, being in charge, making decisions, having the final say, being the center of attention. But the most influential leaders understand something different. True leadership is about elevation, not domination. The best leaders don't diminish others to appear larger. They lift others up and become larger in the process. They don't hog the spotlight. They use it to illuminate others. They don't demand respect. They earn it by giving it first. Think about the leaders who've had the most positive impact on your life. Were they the ones who made everything about themselves? Or were they the ones who made you feel capable, valued, and important? Most people lead through ego. They want to be seen as the smartest, most capable, most important person in every situation. They make decisions to show their authority. They speak to demonstrate their knowledge. They act to prove their worth. But here's what most people don't understand. When you lead by making others feel seen, you become more influential, not less. When you recognize others' contributions, they work harder for you. When you celebrate others' successes, they want you to succeed. When you make others feel important, they see you as important. This is leadership through elevation, and it's the most powerful form of influence that exists. But let me ask you this: how do you lead in your relationships? Do you make family dinners about showcasing your day? Or do you create space for everyone to share? Do you dominate conversations at work, or do you draw out others' ideas and perspectives? Do you take credit for group successes, or do you highlight individual contributions? Do you solve every problem yourself, or do you help others discover solutions? Most people lead through self-promotion. They miss the opportunity to lead through other elevation. The person who has mastered this kind of leadership becomes magnetic. People want to follow them because they feel valued in their presence. They want to work with them because they know their contributions will be recognized. They want to support them because they feel supported in return. Here's how to lead: by making others feel seen. Notice individual strengths and call them out. Sarah, your attention to detail always catches things the rest of us miss. Create opportunities for others to shine. Give them projects that showcase their abilities. Put them in positions to succeed. Ask for input before making decisions. What do you think about this approach? Show that their opinions matter. Give credit publicly and specifically. This success happened because of Michael's innovative thinking. Listen to understand, not just to respond. When someone shares an idea, explore it fully before adding your own thoughts. Develop others' potential. Help them grow their skills. Support their career advancement. Invest in their success. Make room for different perspectives. Don't just hire people like you. Value diversity of thought and experience. The magic of this approach is that it creates a positive cycle. When you make others feel important, they want to make you successful. When you elevate others, they elevate you. When you lead through recognition, you earn recognition. But more than that, you create an environment where everyone performs at their best. People contribute more when they feel valued. They think more creatively when they feel safe. They work harder when they feel appreciated. This is how you build teams that achieve extraordinary results. This is how you create organizations where people love to work. This is how you develop influence that lasts. The best leaders understand that their job isn't to be the most impressive person in the room. Their job is to make everyone else feel impressive. And when you do that consistently, when you lead by making others feel seen, you don't become invisible. You become unforgettable. You don't lose authority. You gain influence. You don't become less important. You become essential, because people will follow someone who makes them feel valuable. They'll work hard for someone who recognizes their worth. They'll be loyal to someone who sees their potential. Your next opportunity to lead is coming. When it arrives, resist the urge to prove your importance. Instead, focus on making others feel important. Recognize their contributions. Celebrate their strengths. Create space for them to shine, and watch how leading through elevation doesn't diminish your influence. It multiplies it. This final chapter is your challenge. Look for the person you overlook. Honor the ones the world forgets. Practice this daily, and you'll change lives and your own. Every day you encounter people who feel invisible. The person cleaning your office building who no one acknowledges. The cashier at the store who serves hundreds of customers but feels like a machine. The colleague who does good work but never gets recognized. The family member who always gives but rarely gets thanked. These are the overlooked ones, the forgotten ones, the people who make your life better but don't feel important to anyone. This is your greatest opportunity. In a world where everyone is fighting to be seen, you can be the person who sees others. Where everyone is demanding attention, you can be the one who gives it. Where everyone is competing to feel important, you can be the one who makes others feel that way. This isn't just about being nice. This is about fundamentally changing how you move through the world. This is about understanding that your greatest power lies not in your achievements, but in your ability to help others feel valuable. Every person you meet today will judge the interaction on one simple question. Did this person make me feel important or invisible? Most people make others feel invisible. They're too busy, too distracted, too focused on themselves to really see the person in front of them. But you can be different. You can be the person who sees the janitor as a human being with dreams and struggles. You can be the one who treats the waiter with respect and kindness. You can be the colleague who notices good work and acknowledges it. You can be the family member who expresses gratitude for all the unseen efforts. But here's what most people don't understand. When you make this your daily practice, you don't just change other people's lives. You change your own. You become more aware, more grateful, more connected to the humanity around you. You start seeing goodness everywhere. You begin appreciating the countless ways people contribute to your life, and you become magnetic. People remember the person who made them feel important. They trust you. They want to help you. They speak well of you. They open doors for you. Not because you tried to impress them, but because you tried to value them. But let me ask you this. Who did you overlook today? Who served you without being acknowledged? Who helped you without being thanked? Who worked around you without being seen? Most people go through life in a trance, missing countless opportunities to brighten someone's day with simple recognition. Your challenge is to wake up, to see clearly, to recognize the invisible people who make your life possible. Here's your daily practice. Look for one person others overlook. The support staff, the service workers, the behind-the-scenes contributors. See them as a whole person, not just a function. They have names, families, dreams, struggles, hopes. Acknowledge them specifically. Thank them by name. Recognize their effort. Express genuine appreciation. Make eye contact. Show that you see them as a human being worthy of respect. Ask about their day. Show interest in them as a person, not just what they can do for you. Remember details. Follow up on things they've shared. Show that your interactions matter to you. Express gratitude for the unseen work. Thank people for things others take for granted. This practice will transform you. You'll start noticing kindness everywhere. You'll begin appreciating the ordinary miracles that happen around you every day. You'll see the interconnected web of people who make your life possible, and you'll become the kind of person others remember. Not because of what you accomplished, but because of how you made them feel. The secret to influence isn't complicated. It isn't about charisma or intelligence or achievement. It's about consistently making others feel important. When you master this, when you make it your daily practice to see and value the people around you, you become someone special, someone trusted, someone loved. Because in a world full of people desperate to feel important, you're the rare person who actually makes them feel that way. Your life is full of opportunities to practice this every single day. The person who serves your coffee, the colleague who helps with projects, the family member who does countless small kindnesses, the stranger who holds the door. See them, thank them, value them, make them feel important, and watch how this simple practice doesn't just change their day, it changes your life. You already have what it takes. Now go prove it. If this message spoke to you, subscribe for more powerful mindset content. Let us know in the comments what part hit you the hardest. You already have what it takes. Now go prove it.